later in my presentation. So let me talk about myself a bit very fast. I am from Chiapas, the south of Mexico. I don't know if any of you remember the Zapatistas, those guys that were revolutionary in Mexico in 1994. So we had that kind of war there. It was really interesting. But then I came to Europe. I went to Europe for 2 years and a half after my engineering degree. And then I came back to Mexico City, and I've been there for almost 10 years. And I've been working on happiness for almost 6 years. It's been a really interesting field of study. And I want to share some takeaways that I've taken that maybe you can implement even starting tomorrow if you take those cards with you. So I want to start with a story. This is Ramon. He's a Mexican engineer, and he was looking for a job. He was sending the CVs, you know, and the whole recruiting process went really well. So he got hired. He was really happy. The first week and the first 2 weeks, he was always talking with the guys, the new guys, sharing stories, you know, like, where's the bathroom, where's the good food here? But as time went by, eventually he got not that excited at the very beginning. And eventually he got totally bored. Have you had something like this? This is in Mexico, right? So, what happened? Ramon started doing many things. So you started doing his stuff, right? So you are like this, full of work, doing so many things, because you have lots of Ramons in your company, and they are not doing everything because they are not engaged. One day, you get really, really mad, and you talk to Ramon, and Ramon left. And now you are like, this is a cycle, right? People leave, and then you have another opportunity, another position to be covered, and this is unbearable. And this is the number that I want to talk to you about, how this is related to Ramon. This is the hours worked by country. This is the numbers of the OCDE. As you can see, we work a lot in Mexico. And I was checking the numbers of South Africa. I couldn't find them on the OCDE, but I was checking some magazines and stuff, and I found that you work a lot too. You work 2,064 hours, and we work a bit more than you. So. But this is not the interesting number. This is the interesting number, because this is the GDP per hour worked. This is productivity. What does this mean? We work a lot, but we don't make that much money. Why? Why is that happening? And look where you are. You're in second. Last year, Mexico was the last one. So that's why I'm telling you that we're really similar, right? And this is pretty interesting information, because that means that we have lots of people that are not engaged. We would like to have them to be more engaged, to be actually using the full brain capacity to achieve better results, but this is not happening. And these are some figures that I brought to you. Yesterday I saw that 66% of the employees were not engaged. Actually, these are the numbers from Gallup. Last year, they say 87% of world's employees are not engaged at work. This is an old figure. This is from 2012. And how much does it cost not to have productive people? Just in the US, it was $500 billion because of lack of productivity. The last figure that I got, it was 2015, and it was 550 billion. So we're talking about a lot of money that we are leaving on the table just because we don't have engaged people working with us. So we have to change a bit. We have to leave some old paradigms in the past and start thinking of new ways of talking or relating to our employees. Many people would say that these figures are terrible. Many people would say that, wow, this is really bad. But I see this as an opportunity. Do you know the story about the half empty, half full glass? Well, it's not relevant. You know why? Because you have the glass and you can always fill it up again. So this is the idea. Take control of what you do and become, and turn it into a new opportunity. So we can design the future that we want to live in and make people more productive through happiness. Have you heard this saying that if you want to achieve better results, you have to go the extra mile? Yes? Can you raise your hand if you have heard of this before? Well, I think this is not that correct. We're proposing something different. We should go the extra mile instead of going the extra mile, okay? And I'm gonna drive you through it. Would you like to go the extra mile with me? Okay, so let's start. In March, I went to the World Happiness Summit. This was in Florida in the US. It was a very interesting thing there. And when I came back to Mexico, many people were asking me, so how was the World Happiness Summit? What was this Oaxaca thing? And some of them thought it was like this. Some others thought it was more like that. Actually, it was like a mixture of both, but with people like you and me. And these are actual photos of the event. And the most interesting thing about the World Happiness Summit was that people from Google, people from the most important universities, you can see Harvard, North Carolina, Oxford, Cambridge, these really important universities talking about happiness. And that made me think, why are they talking about happiness and not talking about productivity? Well, maybe because I was in the World Happiness Summit, right? But why these companies and these universities are talking about happiness and taking that too seriously? I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to give you some figures on why it's important to have happiness within our businesses. This is from Greenberg and Arawaka. It says that if you introduce positive psychology methodologies in your organizations, you will have an increase of 31% on productivity. Martin Seligman, this is the father of the positive psychology, he says that you can have up to 37% in sales. Gallup, 44% on staff retention. This is really important to us. We don't want people to be leaving our companies. Gallup also, minus 51% turnover. People will not be leaving you because we will have some bonds to be created, really, really tight bonds with our people. And this is the most impressive one. Harvard Business Review says you can foster up to 300% in innovation. When I saw that figure, I was like, seriously, 300%? How is that possible? Well, this is purely biological, and I'm going to tell you that. Is everybody aware of the three parts of the brain that we have? If you have a brain and you cut it, please don't do this at home. You will see that there are three different parts. Like this part in behind that is really close to our spine, it's pure instinct. And this is very important. It has to take control of the body because if we see a threat, we can either fight or flight. And that is also in control of our breathing. So basically, due to that part, we're alive now, and we've been alive for such a long period of time. The second part of our brain is more about reaction and relationships. This is why we gather together in tribes. This is why we gather together in towns. We have families. Because if we are together, we are stronger, right? So the third one, the last part of the brain, is the reason part of the brain, and this is the prefrontal cortex. The problem with this biology is that that part of the brain that makes us think and makes us predict things is the last part of the brain. So to access that part, we have to stop using the others or activate the others in a positive way to be able to reach the next one. So this is the hard part of that. So one problem of that configuration of the brain is that the body or the brain cannot differentiate a tiger, a spider, or an angry boss. It's the same. It is. So we react and we either fight or we flight. And that produces these productivity numbers. So this is Barbara Fredrickson. She conducted an amazing experiment. She had two groups of doctors. Both groups have the same specialist. It had a cardiologist, nephrologist, the brain surgeons, etc. on both teams. And I don't know if you're aware that the main cause of deaths in a hospital is bad diagnosis. So she wanted to check if she could improve the diagnosis by having positive psychology implementations in a hospital. So he gathered these two groups and he was with this history record of a patient, and gave to both teams. To one team, she was like, okay, here's the record, check what's the problem with this patient. And for the second one, she did the same, but she said something different. She was like, thank you for being here. Because of being part of this experiment and this diagnosis, we would like to offer you some chocolate. So please, at the end of the diagnosis, outside you will find some boxes with chocolate. Take them. This was amazing. The time that this second group took to have this diagnosis was like a third. And the accuracy of the diagnosis was like 300% better than the other team. And they didn't eat the chocolate, because if they had eaten the chocolate, the sugar levels in the blood would have increased, so the experiment would have gone wrong. So this was just like, I'm going to do something nice for you, and if I did, I got better results. So do you follow this positive thing in our work? We can have better results. What happened there? We deactivated the amygdala of the body, of the brain. We got this part of the brain that is the second, the relationship one, and go to the last part of the brain. So this was purely biological. So how do we do it? How do we deactivate the amygdala and activate the prefrontal cortex starting today? I will show you this. Do you have your cards with you? Can you take them? Everybody has one? Good. So this is the S.M.I.L.E method, right? The first one is select. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to count from 1 to 10, okay? Please check in which second you have the answer to that question. Ready? Okay. What is something you don't like about yourself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got it? Okay, write down that number. Question number 2. Ready? Okay, same thing. What did you have lunch? What did you have for lunch yesterday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got it? Okay, now we go for the third one. You ready? What is the thing that you like the most about yourself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got it? Okay. Forget about question number 2. That was just a control question. So, how many of you got a lower number on question number 1? Please raise your hand. Okay. How many of you got a lower number on question number 3? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's the average. Okay. So what happens with this? If you answer faster, the first question is that you're focusing on a negative part of you, and that's totally normal. We can change that. We are what we learn, and we become what we learn, and this is very important. So imagine every morning you're having breakfast, or you're driving to your office, and you turn on the radio, or you turn on the TV, and you start listening to the news, and somebody was kidnapped, and somebody was killed, and there was a problem with the dollar, and there was lots of problems, and there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing.